The DNA test that destroyed my family. I always thought my family was normal. You know, the usual stuff, annoying siblings, dad who tells the same bad jokes, mom who insists on calling every day. Then one day, my parents got a DNA test kit as a gift. It was supposed to be a fun little family activity, find out our ancestry, maybe discover we had royal blood or something cool like that. Instead, we found out that our entire family was a lie. The DNA test that started it all. It all started when my mom got one of those Find Your Ancestry DNA kits as a birthday gift. She thought it would be fun for the whole family to do it together. Dad laughed, saying, "We already know we're a bunch of European mutts." But I was actually excited. Who wouldn't want to find out if they had Viking DNA or something? So we all spit in the tubes, sent them off, and forgot about it. 3 weeks later, the results came in. And that's when everything fell apart. The results didn't make sense. We gathered around as mom opened the email. "All right, let's see. I have some Italian in me. And German." Then dad opened his. "Irish, Scottish, a little Nordic, cool." Then I opened mine. And nothing matched. At first, I thought maybe I just didn't inherit the same traits. But then I noticed something weird. My paternal DNA didn't match dad's at all. Like 0%. We stared at the screen in silence. Mom laughed nervously. "That's strange. Maybe there was a mistake." I nodded, trying to shake off the growing pit in my stomach. But then my sister checked hers. Same issue. And so did my brother. And that's when it hit us. We weren't biologically related to Dad. Any of us. Dad sat there, silent, his face pale. Then slowly he turned to Mom. "Do you want to explain this?" Mom immediately started crying. I felt like my heart was about to explode. "Mom, what the hell is going on?" She took a deep breath and finally confessed. "Your father isn't your biological dad." Turns out Mom had an affair. Not just once. Not just a mistake. She had been seeing the same guy for years. And apparently all three of us, me, my sister, my brother, were his kids. Dad had no idea. He had raised us, loved us, worked his ass off for us, and in one single moment he found out that we weren't his. Dad stood up, his hands shaking. "I need to go." He walked out the door and didn't come back for 3 days. When he finally returned, he didn't yell. He didn't break anything. He just looked at us and said, "I love you all. That hasn't changed. But your mother and I, we're done." Mom sobbed, begging for forgiveness. But Dad? He packed his bags and left. My relationship with him changed forever. At first, I was terrified that he'd cut us out of his life. But he didn't. He told us, "Biology doesn't matter. I raised you and you'll always be my kids." But no matter how much he tried to act normal, I could tell something was broken. The way he looked at us changed. The way he looked at Mom? That changed the most. Mom tried to justify it. She kept saying, "I didn't know for sure. I thought maybe you were his." As if that made it better. She tried to make it sound like it was just a mistake. But cheating 3 times isn't a mistake. And lying about it for our entire lives isn't something you can just undo. Where we are now. It's been 3 years since that DNA test destroyed our family. Dad is happier now. He moved away, started over, and eventually started dating again. She still tries to act like we can all be one big happy family. But it's not the same. She ruined everything. And me? I still love my dad. He's still my father. But every time I look in the mirror, I see the DNA of the man who destroyed his life. And I don't know if I'll ever forgive her for that.
My phone number ended up on an escort service website. It all started with a random text message. "Hey gorgeous, are you available tonight?" I stared at my phone, confused. Wrong number, obviously. I ignored it. Then, 5 minutes later, another message popped up. "How much for an hour? Do you do out calls?" What the hell? I was about to block the number when my phone rang. Unknown caller. I picked up thinking maybe it was important. "Hello." A deep voice responded. "Hey baby, I saw your ad. What's your rate for the full night?" I hung up so fast I almost dropped my phone. What the actual hell was going on? The invasion begins. For the rest of the day, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. Texts, calls, even WhatsApp messages from people I didn't know. All of them asking the same thing: if I was available and how much I charged. First, I thought it was just some weird coincidence. Maybe someone with a similar number was running an escort service, and people were just mistyping. But then, I got a screenshot. Some guy texted me, "Hey, you're really beautiful. I saw your profile on Redacted. Are you available tonight?" And attached was a full-blown ad. My actual phone number, fake name, and a suggestive profile picture. One I had actually posted on Instagram a year ago, but now cropped to look, well, very different. That moment my stomach dropped. This wasn't random. Someone did this on purpose. Who the hell did this? I was freaking out. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing with notifications. Some guys were polite, some were not. One guy even sent a photo of himself, completely naked, with the caption, "For you, baby. Can't wait to meet." I nearly threw up. I immediately started trying to figure out who was behind this. Did I piss someone off? Did I accidentally post my number somewhere? Was I being pranked? And then, it hit me. My ex. Revenge, but make it illegal. I had broken up with Mike a few months ago. It wasn't dramatic. Just one of those relationships that had run its course. But Mike wasn't happy about it. He had begged to stay friends, and when I said no, he got petty. Blocked me. And followed me. Deleted every picture of us. I didn't think much of it. Till now. Because suddenly I remembered. Mike once joked about how funny it would be to put someone's number on a Craigslist ad. I had laughed it off at the time, not realizing that one day I'd be the target. Confronting the psycho. Called Mike furious. He actually picked up. "Oh, so now you want to talk," he said, his tone dripping with sarcasm. I didn't waste time. "You put my number on a fucking escort site?" Silence. Then he laughed. "Took you long enough to figure it out." I wanted to reach through the phone and strangle him. "What the hell is wrong with you?" "Relax," he said. "It was just a joke. You'll be fine." Joke. Joke. Meanwhile, I had random men sending me explicit photos, calling me at 2 a.m., and asking for special services. Hilarious. Cleaning up the mess. I spent the next 2 weeks trying to get my number removed from every sketchy site imaginable. Let me tell you, it's not easy. Some sites ignored my request. Others asked for proof that I wasn't actually an escort before taking it down. And the worst part, even after the original ads were deleted, my number had already been shared. It took months before the calls and messages finally stopped. The final revenge. Mike thought he got away with it. But what he didn't know was that I kept every message, every call log, and every screenshot. And then, I reported his ass. Impersonation. Harassment. Defamation. I didn't even have to go to court. Just filing a police report and mentioning revenge porn laws was enough to scare him shitless. Within a week, he was begging me to drop it. "Come on, it was just a joke. You're taking this way too seriously." "No, Mike. You screwed with the wrong person." The aftermath. I had to change my number. I still double-check every website to make sure my info isn't floating around somewhere. And as for Mike, he lost his job. Turns out, companies don't like hiring guys who get reported for harassment. Karma's a bitch, huh? Lesson learned. If you ever break up with a petty, vengeful ex, change your damn phone number. Because some people don't know how to let go.
The job that turned out to be a scam. Getting a new job is supposed to be exciting. You apply, go through interviews, and finally get an offer. It should be a relief. But for me, it turned into a nightmare. Because the job I got? It didn't even exist. And by the time I figured it out, I had already lost thousands of dollars. The perfect job offer. I had been unemployed for a few months, applying to anything that seemed decent. Bills were piling up, and I was desperate. Then one day, I got an email. "Congratulations. We've reviewed your application and would love to bring you on board as our new sales coordinator." I stared at my screen, confused. I didn't remember applying for this position. But hey, Maybe I sent my resume and forgot? Or maybe a recruiter found me on LinkedIn. Either way, I was just happy to finally have a job offer. I responded with a polite, "Thank you. I'd love to discuss the details." 5 minutes later, I got a response. "No need for an interview. We're confident you're the right fit." Wait, no interview? No Zoom call? No? Tell me about yourself? Just an instant job offer? That should have been red flag number one. But instead of questioning it, I told myself, maybe I just got lucky. They sent me an official-looking offer letter, a welcome packet, and a long contract, which, like an idiot, I didn't read properly. Then they sent me my first assignment. I expected normal onboarding, maybe setting up a work email or reading company policies. Instead, they wanted me to test the company's payment system. By depositing a check they sent me and transferring most of the money back to an account they provided. Yeah, that's not normal. The moment I realized I was screwed. At this point, my gut was screaming, scam. But the check they sent me? It actually cleared. So I thought, maybe this is legit? I transferred the money as instructed. 3 days later, my bank called. "The check you deposited was fraudulent. Your account is now negative $5,000. I felt my stomach drop. Wait, but it cleared? The bank rep sighed. Yes, but some fake checks clear before we detect fraud. Since you withdrew the money, you're responsible for it. I wanted to throw up. Trying to contact my employer, I immediately emailed my so-called company. Guess what? The email bounced back. Their website was gone. Their phone number didn't work anymore. They had completely disappeared. I had been played. The aftermath. I ran to my bank, desperate for help. Their response? Unfortunately, because you willingly deposited the check and transferred the money, there's nothing we can do. I was screwed. I even went to the police, but all they said was, "These scams happen all the time. It's almost impossible to catch them." I felt like an idiot. Digging deeper, I started researching similar scams, and guess what I found? This fake company had been operating under different names for years. They constantly changed their websites and used fake business addresses to look real. Hundreds of people had fallen for it. And the worst part? They specifically targeted job seekers because they knew desperate people ignore red flags. How I recovered? It took me 6 months to recover financially. I had to take a low-paying job just to cover my losses. I lived off instant noodles and had to ask my landlord for extra time to pay rent. It was humiliating, but I learned my lesson. How to spot a job scam, so you don't end up like me. If they hire you without an interview, it's fake. If they send you money before you've done any work, it's fake. If they ask you to use your personal bank account, it's fake. If their website disappears overnight, if your gut says something's off, trust it. The aftermath. To this day, I still feel stupid for falling for it. But now, whenever I hear someone say, "I got a job offer and they want me to transfer money first," I immediately yell, "Don't do it. It's a scam." Because trust me, you do not want to learn this lesson the hard way. The coworker who tried to get me fired. I've always been the type of employee who just wants to do my job, get paid, and go home. No drama, no gossip, no office politics, just work. But apparently, that was too much to ask. Because one day, I found myself caught in a corporate backstabbing nightmare, thanks to a jealous coworker who decided that the best way to succeed was to get rid of me. Meet Karen, the office snake. Her name was Karen, yes, really, and she had been working at the company for a few years before I was hired. From the very first day, I could tell she didn't like me. At first, I thought she was just cold or maybe just one of those people who didn't do small talk. But over time, it became painfully obvious that her problem wasn't with everyone, just me. She made passive-aggressive comments whenever I shared ideas in meetings. She forgot to CC me on important emails. She'd roll her eyes whenever I spoke, and whenever I got praise from management, she'd suddenly have a problem with my work. It was annoying, but nothing I couldn't handle. Until she decided to escalate things. One day, my boss called me into his office. "Hey, we need to talk. There have been some concerns about your performance." Immediately, my stomach dropped. What concerns? I had never missed a deadline, never had a complaint from a client, and had only gotten positive feedback from my team. Karen mentioned that you've been struggling to keep up with deadlines, my boss continued. Karen said you've been showing up late to meetings. Karen said you're not working well with the team. I was stunned, because not only were these accusations blatantly false, but I had actual proof that I had been on top of my work. So, I calmly pulled up my emails, my calendar logs, and my project reports. And guess what? Every single one of her accusations fell apart. Karen's accidental sabotage. You'd think that after getting caught red-handed, Karen would back off. But nope. If anything, she doubled down. For the next few weeks, I noticed some suspicious incidents. She accidentally deleted my files from the shared drive. She booked fake meetings on my calendar so I'd waste time sitting in empty rooms. She misinformed clients about my availability so they'd think I was ignoring them. At this point, I knew she wasn't just being passive-aggressive. She was actively trying to sabotage me. And I had two choices. Let her win and get pushed out of the company. Fight back. Guess which one I picked? I started documenting everything. Screenshots, emails, calendar logs, every shady thing Karen did. Then I started being overly polite to her in front of our boss. Because nothing confuses a manipulative person more than fake kindness. Oh, Karen, did you mean to delete my files? No worries. I already had a backup. Oh, you must have forgotten to invite me to that meeting. I just caught up with the team directly. The more chill I was, the angrier she got. And then, finally, she messed up. One day, I caught her red-handed forwarding one of my reports, but with her name on it. She had literally stolen my work and sent it to our manager, pretending it was hers. Big mistake. Because little did she know, I had already sent the original report an hour earlier. When my boss saw two identical reports, with two different names, he called us both into his office. Karen tried to play dumb. Oh, I must have mixed up the files. But then I pulled up the timestamps. The emails. The undeniable proof that she was a liar and a fraud. Her face? Priceless. And my boss? Absolutely livid. Karen got put on probation. A month later? She quit. Translation, she got fired. And me? I got a promotion. Because nothing screams corporate justice like watching your worst enemy self-destruct. And to this day, I still live by one rule. Keep the receipts. Because some people will try to ruin your reputation, and the best revenge is letting them ruin themselves. I won the lottery, but got nothing. Winning the lottery is supposed to be life-changing. You buy the ticket, you dream about the money, and if you're lucky enough to win, your whole world changes. At least, that's how it's supposed to go. But for me, I won the lottery and walked away with nothing. It started as a normal day. I was at the gas station, grabbing a drink, when I saw the lottery machine. I wasn't even a regular lottery player. But something in me said, why not? So I bought a ticket. Just one. And then? I forgot about it. Fast forward a week. I was at my friend Jake's house, watching TV when the lottery numbers came up. Jake was half paying attention, scrolling on his phone, but I was staring at the screen. The numbers looked familiar. I grabbed my wallet, pulled out my ticket, and started checking. One number matched. Then two. Then all of them. I couldn't breathe. Holy shit, I think I won. Jake looked up, suddenly interested. Wait, what? I showed him the ticket, my hands shaking. He checked it. Then checked again. And then he screamed. Bro, you're rich. I was losing my mind. Millions. Millions of dollars. I started planning my new life in my head, quitting my job, buying a car, maybe even a house. I had no idea that my life was about to take a very different turn. The biggest mistake of my life. After celebrating like idiots for an hour, Jake said, Dude, let me hold on to your ticket. Just so it doesn't get lost. Now, let me just pause for a second. Because at this moment, I should have known better. But I was in shock. My brain wasn't working properly. Jake was my best friend. I trusted him. So, like a complete moron, I said, Yeah, sure, just keep it safe. And just like that, I lost everything. The next morning, I woke up feeling like a king. I called Jake, excited to go claim my winnings. He didn't answer. I texted him. No response. I figured, okay, maybe he's busy. By the afternoon, I was starting to get nervous. I went to his house. His car was gone. His apartment was empty, like he had disappeared off the face of the earth. And that's when it hit me. I had just been scammed out of my own lottery win, trying to get my money back. I freaked out. I called the lottery office, trying to explain what happened. You know what they told me? Only the person who claims the ticket is considered the rightful winner. And guess what? Jake had already turned it in. By the time I even realized I was being played, he had already collected the money and vanished. I went to the police, filed a report, but legally, there was nothing they could do, because there was no proof that the ticket was ever mine. No photos, no receipts, nothing. It was his word against mine. And just like that, I went from a millionaire to a broke idiot in less than 24 hours. Where is he now? Jake completely disappeared, blocked me on everything, deleted his social media, moved to another state. Last I heard, he bought a house, a car, and was living his best life. Meanwhile, I was back at my shitty job, eating instant noodles and thinking about how I had the winning ticket in my hands and let someone else take it. The lesson? If you ever win the lottery, never trust anyone. Because some people, they don't care about friendship. They only care about money.